jail as well. And due to the fact that there possibly is an increase in jail bookings because before in the final budget, state budget impacts, the state, if you recall, will put together a new piece of legislation for the charges of the jail bookings, and I'll report this out in my state budget report. Because of this, the jail bookings are now charged to the state by Mendocino County. There was an incentive that was priorly there for the jail and the cities to keep the low-level offenders at the cities at the city level. Now, because of this legislation and the fact that we are no longer billing the cities for these jail bookings, these low-level offenders are coming into our county jail, and it's causing a larger impact to our county costs for the jail. There is some legislation that may possibly go forward as proposed and recommended by the LAO. It's undetermined whether this will happen at this point, but if it does, the LAO is presenting and recommending that that piece of legislation for the jail bookings be reversed and goes back to the counties for actually billing and charging the jail the jail bookings. And I'm hoping I'm being clear about this. So I guess what I'm saying about the jail impacts are that there could possibly be some additional cost in the jail for this year, but it's due largely to the fact of the increase in jail bookings. Moving on. There's some slight differences in the public defender's budget to be under budget by $13,000. Probation is projecting to be under budget by $112,139 due to some vacant positions and salary savings. Budget Unit 4070, medically indigent, is projected to have a partial savings due to a credit for the CMSP participation fee by the state. This budget is projected to be under net county cost by $132,890. Animal control is expected to be over budget by slightly an amount of $29,287. The CalWorks budget is projected to be under net county cost by $185,689. The economic development promotion budget is expected to be under budget by net county cost by $90,571, primarily due to salary savings and delay in hiring the economic development coordinator and the staff support position that was allocated, if you recall, $75,000 in final budget. The teeter plan is projected to be over in net county cost by $386,500. This projection, however, does not include the repayment of the $500,000, and this is primarily due to interest on the debt. The miscellaneous budget is projecting to be under net county cost by $141,240. There's an increase in revenue that is projected, which is primarily the reason for this projection of being under net county cost. The grand jury for the third year in a row is projected to be over net county cost by $10,260. As I stated here, the grand jury expenses continue to increase with cost for the out-of-county travel expenses and jury member reimbursements, and the CEO will continue to monitor this. I also have listed this time the budgets requiring further review for third quarter. The GSA budgets will require some further review for third quarter. All of the budgets are expected to be coming in at net county cost in the aggregate. However, at this time it is unknown what the dollar amount for each budget is, as it was not provided to the CEO's office. In 2008-09, however, we will be requesting that GSA provides information and detailed budgets for each individual budget rather than doing it in the aggregate as we head towards our first step in working towards program measurements. Budget units The Auditor's Office, County Council, and Human Resources are also going to be reviewed further by the CEO and will be monitored and reviewed due to excess staffing overtime required for the Munis finance system and other increased workload requirements. Budget Unit 1710, Capital Improvements Maintenance Projects. This budget is projected to be over in fund balance contribution due to unexpected cost overruns in the jail remodel contract. It is unknown at this time, but may be approximately $83,000 this year, which could result in a need for additional general fund contribution. Mental Health Budget Unit 4050. This budget is projected to have a year-to-date deficit balance of approximately $575,000, primarily due to out-of-county placement contract costs with very little revenue offset. Health and Human Services Agency budgets is projecting that they will offset some of this deficit for this year. The Water Agency is projecting slightly higher revenues than budgeted, and there also may be a possibility of reimbursement for Mill Creek from insurance that has been submitted, but is unknown at this time. This budget is projected to realize an increase of fund balance carryover approximately $50,000. As well as air quality, this budget is projected to realize an increase in fund balance of $65,000, primarily due to higher revenues than anticipated. All of our debt obligations, debt service on our pension obligation bonds and our COPs are projected to be in line for this year and on target for the amortizations that have been set up. The debt service unfunded actuarial liability that was accrued back in 2005 for $4.2 million and amortized over 5 years is still projected to come in 1 year early and will be paid off at the end of this year, 2007-08, or the first of 2008. The internal service fund budgets, workers' comp, liability, retiree health budgets are expected to meet the fund balance contribution that's budgeted. We will continue to monitor and review the health insurance budget to ensure viability in the reporting and reconciling to the actuarial numbers. I have listed for you in the summary as well the projected quarter variances by function. And in summary, for this report, I will report out that non-departmental revenue is coming in under $1 million. Criminal Justice Departments will be over $516,145. Internal Support Departments will be under $9,888. Health and Human Service Departments over $256,017. Resource Agency Departments under $26,105. General Government Departments over $120,534, with making a subtotal of being under budget $213,681. But if you subtract out the contingency funds pending, or add in the contingency funds pending, and then subtract out the teeter plan schedule payment of $500, you end up with a variance of $313,681, as was stated at the very beginning of this report. And I think that concludes the whole summary, and if the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions of the board so far? Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Wyatt, in terms of the teeter, we sort of lead off with the teeter in your discussion here, and then we see it surface again at the end of your, it's your summary table on the last page of this written report. What is the county's plan when it says teeter plan scheduled payment, $500,000, which I think is a commitment this board made in the last cycle? What is the scheduled date